the assumption of race superiority, leading to the exploitation of other races. Isn't that interesting? But I don't think biologists have that in mind when they classify their races, right? They're not thinking, this one is superior to that one, and so we should exploit those others. No, those were evil people who did that. But what is race? Well, I have it here on my page. It's been there for a while. I have a video on it. It comes from Jerry A. Coyne's book, Why Evolution is True. Races are simply populations of a species that are both geographically separated and differ genetically in one or more traits. Right? So the human species were separated in groups long enough, long time ago. Right? It was a long time ago that they were geographically separated. They didn't mix. That created within them genetic traits, right? Differences. That's all it is. Now, of course, we overcame that reality as time went on through our technology, boats, and other things that allowed us to travel, and planes and such. It's also interesting to note from this Wikipedia page on race, this survey taken that shows who disagrees with this statement, that there are biological races in the species Homo sapiens. Well, this updated survey for cultural anthropologists seemed to be the most dastardly doers here. 80% disagree that there are biological races in the species Homo sapiens. Of course, the biologists, which I would put at probably a much lower number, I think they're just afraid, would actually all agree that there are biological races in the species Homo sapiens. This very much reminds me of the whole global warming thing, where you have all the biologists saying one thing, all the scientists really saying one thing, and all the others saying, oh, different, something else. Alright, so the history is clear. Race got used in dastardly ways. It got so bad that the politically correct people went after the scientists and started to tell them, quit using that terminology, and if you could, please quit studying it too. Even if it really screws shit up. Just don't even bother studying that shit, because we're going to come after you with our pitchforks. So it's misdirected anger, right? You don't go after the scientists, except you can go after the ones that are using it for dastardly deeds. You can use it for them, go after them, but don't go after the entire community. That's just stupid. Right, so the history is clear, though. That's what happened, right? Now, if we look at this definition that I used for racism, the assumption of race superiority leading to the exploitation of other races, the same thing is happening to this word. This definition actually comes from the Oxford Dictionary under speciesism, which reads as follows from the Oxford Dictionary: the assumption of human superiority leading to the exploitation of animals, which is kind of a bad way to put it, really, because it should be of other animals, but regardless. So the same thing that happened to race for the past few decades has been happening to the word species as well. You will hear animal rights folks call mediators and such. They'll accuse you of being a speciesist, right? Much in the same way that one is called a racist. Of course, if I went around calling you an evolutionist or a biologist, damn that biologist. But what's interesting to note here in this regard is to note that the word speciesist will never go down the same road as racist in regards to this. But who knows? Maybe it will. Maybe at some point people are going to start to become so sensitive to the word species that they'll start denying that as well, like they have done with race. It's interesting to watch the genesis of this happening. You look back at the history. So, and I'm not denying speciesism or anything of that nature, but I'm just saying that if you watch it happen, who knows? Maybe in 40 years we'll start denying speciesism, or we'll start denying species as a biological scientific fact. And then what are we going to do? Just stop studying evolution and biology altogether? Right? Well, that's what's happening. That's what's happening to a lot of people, a lot of biologists who study race. A lot of them just don't even want to touch it, which is just a bad way to go, because those who want to do good, that have to speak in those terms and study in those terms, you know, they are afraid because people are, and rightly so, especially regarding race, people are afraid of what could happen. So, you know, mainly my message is that, look, we got to, if you want to fight racism, that's fine, but do it on terms that are grounded in fact and reality, and not denial. And my second point being is that let us not be so oversensitive and politically correct about the term race that that stifles our scientific exploration that can be used for good things. Alright, so that's all I got to talk about for now. Peace out, my brothers, sisters, and everyone in between.